Please help arrange everything else. Zhao Jiangxing reaches out to take them, but feels his hands are a bit dirty, so he wipes them on his shirt hem. Then finally takes the money. He carefully puts the money into his inside shirt pocket, afraid he might lose it if he's not careful. Zhao Jiangxing sincerely tells you, with so much money, you can trust Big Brother. He'll definitely handle everything perfectly for you. You not a Big Brother. Why wouldn't I trust you? If it weren't for Big Brother and sister-in-law looking after us, with what my wife suffered in her past life, maybe our daughter wouldn't even have been born. She might have been lost by my own doing. Zhao family's main hall. Lin Qingsu is tidying up the things you brought home. She takes out a cloth from the cabinet and carefully places it on the TV, afraid it'll get dusty and dirty the TV. She says, what's the point of buying this thing? The village always has power outages. Plus we need to set up an antenna. And when there's no signal, the screen is just filled with static. Seeing how excited you look, she doesn't really complain about you spending money. She notices you bought more stuff for her and your daughter. There are sweaters, pants, leather shoes for women, and a few outfits for her friend's little girl. Why is she spending money again? Who buys new clothes every day? Last time you came back from town and bought her that coat, she couldn't even bring herself to wear it yet, reluctant to use it. And now you've bought even more clothes for her. But seeing you care about mother and daughter, Lin Qingsu is still happy. She picks up the soft and thick cotton quilt, ready to put it in the chest, and can't help shedding tears. It's better than the new cotton quilt she had when she got married. Once everything is tidied up, Lin Qingsu realizes you didn't buy anything for herself. But her shirt is patch on patch. Her shoes even have holes. Li Tiantian helps hold your daughter, staring eagerly at the new clothes, scratching her head in frustration. Like a cat seeing a fish. That crew neck sweater is the most down-to-earth style in the city. She always wanted to buy it when shopping. But her parents never agreed, spending half a month's wages just for a sweater, looking at clothes she wanted but couldn't afford. And they're not just one here. Li Tiantian is so envious, jealous, and resentful. Lin Qingsu's husband is really handsome, and more than willing to spend money for his wife. And he's also so considerate. When moving things, he wouldn't let her lift a finger. Afraid she'd get tired, cherishes her like his own eyes. How can a good man like him be called lazy by the village? That's just nonsense. It's absolutely ridiculous. You stride in from outside, and immediately see a young woman you don't recognize, standing there holding a child, smiling at your wife. Is this your friend? Li Tiantian lowers her gaze when she notices your attention, unable to look you in the eye, can't meet your eyes. Even though she calls herself a city person, always looks down on these country folks. But ever since this family's man came back on the tractor, covered in dust and sweat, she's always been right by his side. But to him, only his wife matters. There she is, a living person standing here. And he hasn't looked at her even once. Lin Qingsu is busy with her chores, hearing your question, finally realizing there's an extra person at home. That female educated youth hasn't said a word, and she's been busy tidying up with all the stuff you brought home. She completely forgot about her. Lin Qingsu quickly and apologetically takes the child from Li Tiantian's arms and tells you the captain brought her from the countryside. The educated youth wants to stay with us temporarily. How about we clean up the west room so she can stay there? Her words are half asking for your opinion. Even though you say he's the boss of the house, he still doesn't dare make decisions alone. Afraid to make a mistake, you hear someone wants to stay at your home, and your brow instantly furrows. You really don't want strangers messing up the peaceful life with your wife. But when you see your wife's hopeful eyes, the words of refusal just won't come out. Afraid she think you're not on her side, you stay silent. Pull your wife into the inner room, take off your coat, then take out the remaining money from selling dendrobium from your hidden pocket, and hand it to her. You then take your child from Lin Qingsu's arms, teasing the baby, and tell her your plan to build a new house. Lin Qingsu takes the money from your hands, and looks at the stack of crisp bills, feeling it's hard to believe. After buying so many things, there's still so much money left. 2 stalks of dendrobium, 1 piece of ishowu, and some deer antler and deer pizzle. They were worth so much? When you mention wanting to build a house, Lin Qingsu quickly puts the money away. Under your eager gaze, carefully hides the money very securely, and then falls silent for a moment. If we don't build a house, just the money from these 2 deals, it's more than enough for the 3 of us to live comfortably for several years. A safe, steady life. But if we do build a house, this money won't be nearly enough, and we'll end up deep in debt. Her younger brother from her mother's side has helped their family a lot recently, Now they've got their own kids to raise. It's embarrassing to ask to borrow more. Lin Qingsu is lost in thought. You seem to see right through her worries. Suddenly you kiss her soft cheek. Honey, don't worry about the money. I've got it covered. Just rest up at home. Don't tire yourself out. That sudden soft, warm touch on her cheek makes Lin Qingsu blush bright red. She gives you a seductive glance and softly reminds you, what are you doing? There's someone outside. You're not embarrassed at all. Your skin is as thick as a fortress. You just grin at Lin Qingsu. In your last life, you were rich. You've been in every kind of situation. And then you lean down again. Gently bite Lin Qingsu's plump, rosy lips. Just a light nibble. Looking at her blushing, fair face, your heart melts right along. She's a mom now, but still so shy. You stop teasing her. Get back on topic? You say that tomorrow. Big brother will order the building materials. If he doesn't have enough money and asks you for some, don't forget to give it to him. Lin Qingsu nods silently, but feels a bit uneasy. She remembers what the neighbor said about big brother and second sister-in-law, and now whenever she sees big brother, she just feels uncomfortable. You noticed right away that your wife didn't look quite right. You moved closer, touched her cheek, and asked what was wrong. Wife, if anything's bothering you, don't bottle it up inside. Lin Qingsu thought for a moment, but she still shook her head. She didn't say anything. Seeing your wife didn't want to talk. You didn't push her for an answer. Over there, Li Tiantian stood in the main room. She vaguely heard Lin Qingsu's reminder that there were still people outside. Her face turned as red as a monkey's bottom. He walked softly, making his way to the middle of the yard, breathing in the fresh air. Almost by instinct, he stopped himself from going to look for the captain to change his bunk. The man of the house didn't seem as bad as the villagers made him out to be. Just now, when the little sister-in-law was tidying things up, he stood there holding the child, watching everything clearly. Most of those things were just household items, plus clothes for the child and the sister-in-law. But there was nothing there that belonged to the man. As Li Tiantian stood dazed in the yard, the little girl in your arms was already sound asleep. Her delicate little face looked peaceful. You turned around gently and softly laid your sleeping little princess on the bed. You carefully pulled the blanket over her. Then Lin Qingsu walked out from the room. She said to Li Tiantian, I'm sorry you'll have to make do tonight. Please bear with us for now. There's quite a lot piled up in the west room. It might take your big brother a while to clean it all up. Upon hearing Lin Qingsu, Li Tiantian turned her head, seeing her cheeks all flushed. She couldn't help but think of what she vaguely overheard lately. The husband and wife's conversation in their room. Her face got a little hot. She quickly looked away from him. It's no trouble, unless you want to bother big brother instead. Li Tiantian quickly replied. Lin Qingsu just smiled and shook her head at Li Tiantian, saying, as long as you don't mind how poor our family is, that's enough. As she spoke, he bent down, planning to move his daughter's little wooden bed into the east room. Seeing this, you hurried over to help. Let me move it, hun. Be careful with your back. Lin Qingsu chuckled, and then headed to the west room, wanting to help tidy up too. You, working with your shirt off. Only put on a white tank top since your wife kept asking you to. You finally wore that white tank top. Your muscular arms were showing, looking full of strength. The tank top covered your broad back, hiding those scratches of different shades. You had no idea why your wife wanted you to wear a tank top. You just carried a few bamboo rakes like this, planning to move them to the yard. Barely started working. And then you saw your wife come in, rolling up her sleeves. You quickly stopped her. Honey, you don't need to help with this. There's a lot of dust. Go wait outside in the yard. You said this, but seeing Lin Qingsu not listening, you got anxious, put down the fence in your hand and started to push her out. You really felt sorry for her. The dust was so bad. How could you let her come help? If it wasn't for the new house coming up soon, and a bunch of grown men coming and going, you wouldn't have kept this female educated youth living at your place. But then again, keeping Li Tiantian had its benefits too. When you go to the mountains to hunt or gather dendrobium, she can keep your wife company and chat with her. Helps to pass the time. Li Tiantian saw you push Lin Qingsu out, so she couldn't help but cover her mouth and jokingly say, Sis-in-law, big bro really cares about you. Hearing Li Tiantian, Lin Qingsu blushed, smiled shyly, and didn't answer, thinking how much he's changed lately. As long as he's home, he won't let me do any work. Even the hot water to wash up at night. He boils it and brings it into the room for me. These days I really do feel cared for. It's almost too good to be true. So good, it feels unreal sometimes. She even felt a little anxious about it. Lin Qingsu was scared it was just a phase for you, that you go back to your old ways. She worried all the time. always feeling a bit insecure. Her mind is always tense every day now, greedily hoping these good days will last a bit longer. That's why she's so careful with her words and actions lately. Afraid of upsetting you when she eats, seeing you hand her the white flour buns while you eat the cornbread, even though you always said you hated cornbread. And it was you who asked me to make white flour buns, but when they're ready, you never touch them at all, saving them all for me. Honestly, I can eat whatever. As long as you're living well, and you don't go fooling around outside, I'm content. Lin Qingsu still can't figure out why you've suddenly become so good. It's not like she never did crazy things when she was drunk before. Apologizing while hugging you after sobering up, kneeling and swearing she wouldn't do it again. Every time after she got drunk, she'd behave for a few days, but only for 2 or 3 days. Then went back to how she was before, and kept going out to mess around. You've never been like this before. Cooking and boiling water, even coaxing the child, and getting all the clothes and shoes for the kid. Lin Qingsu knew deep down, always reminding herself to stay clear-headed, not to fall headfirst into this sweet illusion. Because what if she wakes up from the dream someday, and reality isn't like it is now? What would she do then? But you didn't know what was going through your wife's mind. Time passed and it was nearly dark. You finally finished tidying up the west room. That room was made of clay tiles, always piled high with sundries. No one lived there. The newspapers on the walls were rotten like spider webs, falling apart at just a touch. Even after cleaning, there was still a lot of dust inside. You quickly built a little bed with wooden planks, and finished the task your wife gave you. Lin Qingsu saw you coming out all sweaty. She quickly grabbed a towel and handed it to you. Here, wipe off. Dinner's almost ready. You didn't reach out, just stood tall, and bent down a little. Brought your face closer. Your strong, handsome face got right in front of your wife. Breathing out heat, you said, "Babe, can you wipe it for me?" Hearing you say that, Lin Qingsu glanced over instinctively at Li Tian, who just came in carrying stuff. After she walked in, Qingsu tiptoed up and wiped the sweat off your forehead. She reminded you there's a guest at home. Next time, when you get up in the morning, don't walk around shirtless. At least wear some shorts. Don't make the young lady embarrassed. Your dark, sharp eyes stared at your wife, so close by, watching her carefully wiping it off, and reminding you about all these things. Your heart felt warm, even though not being able to go shirtless at home feels a bit awkward. But looking at your wife being so serious, you couldn't help but smile. You leaned over and gave Qingsu a quick peck on her red lips, just a light kiss. And you answered right away, "I'll listen to you." Lin Qingsu blushed at your sudden affection, her face and ears turning red. It's fine when it's just the two of you at home, but now there's an unmarried girl around. Seriously, you're shameless. Face red, Qingsu told you, stop messing around. Go wash up and have dinner. Then she hurried back to the kitchen. You watched her running off, and couldn't help but grin. Your handsome face was full of satisfaction. You walked over to the well, drew up a bucket of cold water, splashed your face with it. After sweating so much, you felt all sticky. It was really uncomfortable. You looked around. No one else was in the yard. You took off your tank top and dumped the cold water straight over your head. So refreshing. But you didn't expect Li Tiantian to walk out just then. She saw the whole thing. She saw your bare, muscular back, showing off your strong body, toned muscles, clear lines, with a few scratch marks still there. Li Tiantian's cheeks turned red at the sight. She quickly turned and went back inside. These mud brick walls aren't soundproof at all. The house is dark and dusty everywhere. Li Tiantian can't stand even one full day. Lin Qingsu heard the water splashing and brought the dishes out. The first thing she saw was you shirtless, your body still dripping wet, like you'd just come out of the water. She instantly felt a rush of anger. She put the food down on the stone table in the yard, marched over and grabbed your arm, dragging you inside, complaining as she pulled, "It's freezing out here. What if you get sick, huh?" You let your wife pull you inside. Listening to her nagging made you feel warm. You knew she was worried about you. Once inside, Lin Qingsu grabbed a kid's little blanket, stood on her tiptoes, and gently started to dry your hair. She was so focused, she didn't even blink, still scolding you to lower your head, totally not noticing. You were smiling at her the whole time. Hearing her talk, you quickly spread your legs and dipped your head down, obediently letting her dry you off. "So my dear, are you wearing new clothes tomorrow? I want to see you in them." When you said that, Lin Qingsu paused a bit, but she stayed quiet. Once your hair was almost dry, she moved behind you, carefully drying your back too. Seeing the marks on your back, Her face grew even redder. She wasn't like this before. But now, thinking about it, her heart started to race. She tossed the little blanket to you. Told you to dry the front yourself. Dry off, get changed, then come eat. Lin Qingsu lifted the curtain and went out. Just as Li Tiantian came out from the west room, they shared a smile, but stayed quiet. 3 little mud brick rooms, all crammed together. Say something in the east room. The west room hears every word. Li Tiantian couldn't sit still, couldn't stand either. Just felt awkward all over. If this was nighttime, she'd feel like she was on a spit over a fire. You changed into some pants, threw on a gray shirt, and strode out. You sat beside your wife on the stone stool, glanced at the table. The eggs from breakfast were still almost untouched. All 8 pieces of meat still there. You frowned at your wife. Didn't you eat breakfast? Lin Qingsu just picked up her chopsticks. But when she saw you frowning, her heart dropped. Her hand shook and the chopsticks fell to the floor. She was instantly defeated. So she broke down so fast. She thought this time she could hold on longer. It was over before she even realized. She put down the other chopstick, avoided looking at you, and took a deep breath. I had half a bun and 2 pieces of egg. Her voice sounded calm, but her hand was gripping her old coat tight. Her whole body was shaking. The sound of the chopsticks made you whip around. You knew something was wrong. Looked closely. Lin Qingsu's eyes were completely red, like rain-soaked apricots. Your heart clenched. You started to panic. You just felt bad she wasn't eating. Never meant to sound so harsh. You scared her. You tried to hug her, but she dodged away. You got even more anxious. Your tall frame squatted in front of your wife, face filled with worry. Honey, I just got worried. I really didn't mean to scare you. Softened your tone. And Lin Qingsu couldn't hold back her hurt anymore. Her tears started falling. She really got scared just now. Thought you'd turned into that scary, violent guy again. You felt so bad for her, and picked her up by the waist, carried her straight into the east room. Li Tiantian was just sitting down at the stone stool, looking completely lost. What the heck just happened? Now she's the only one left outside. Inside, you looked at her, heart aching. Her eyes were red from crying, her little nose all pink. It hurt you like crazy. You leaned down and gently spoke to her. Honey, I'm sorry. I really messed up. I was just worried you wouldn't eat. So I got anxious and sounded mean. I'm so busy out there every day. I can't watch you eat all the time. Got worried for a second, and my tone got ugly. Lin Qingsu slowly started to feel better, realizing she'd been kind of sensitive too. Being pampered lately had made her spoiled. Now it was all out in the open. He felt even more embarrassed. His fair fingers gripped his shirt tightly. His eyes lowered slightly, biting his lower lip. He didn't say a word. Just then, you suddenly called out, "Wife, what's going on with you?" You followed the direction he was pointing. Only then did Lin Qingsu notice. She realized she was leaking milk. Before he could answer, you thought of the crucian carp tofu soup and venison you've been making lately. You asked if our daughter is eating enough these days. Lin Qingsu's pale face turned red instantly, like a ripe persimmon. He pulled away from your embrace, turned around and said, "You get out first." His voice was trembling. "I've been drinking fish soup every day. Don't know if it really helps. The babies had only breast milk the past few days. No more formula. But even so, there's still a lot of milk. Breasts ache and feel full all day. Last night, that shameless guy had some too. That's the only reason it didn't hurt so much today. But somehow she's still leaking." His face flushed bright red. Head down, unbuttoning his shirt. Didn't realize at all. You were staring directly at his moves intently, eyes full of longing as you watched. Lin Qingsu just took off her outer shirt, then realized that shameless man was staring right at her. He immediately got embarrassed and annoyed. "What are you doing? Hurry up and get out. I need to change clothes." You weren't planning to leave at all. Instead, you leaned closer and said, "Honey, the baby's asleep now. You're feeling full and uncomfortable. Let me help." You didn't give Lin Qingsu a chance to react. Li Tiantian was sitting outside on a stone bench, leaning her cheek on her hand. It was already dark. The stars and moon were out. The couple was still inside. They hadn't come out, and she didn't dare go in. She just waited. After a long time, the two finally came out. Li Tiantian noticed the younger sister-in-law's eyes were a bit teary. Her cheeks flushed. Her lips so red they seemed to drip. Guess he made her feel better. Lin Qingsu noticed Li Tiantian staring at her, thinking of what just happened. Her face got hotter. She sat down, picked up chopsticks, and handed them to Li Tiantian. "Let's eat." Then handed another pair of chopsticks to the man next to her. After you sat down, you didn't even spare Li Tiantian a glance the whole time. You gave your wife a white bread bun and grabbed a coarse grain bun, taking big bites, thinking about sneaking off to the reservoir soon, catching some fish to nourish your wife. Lin Qingsu had no clue what he was thinking. He worried Li Tiantian might feel awkward. Handed her a white bread bun. Eat, make yourself at home. Treat this like your own house. Li Tiantian took a small bite, but wondered in her heart. Is this family poor or rich? If they're poor, why white bread buns? The dishes are eggs and meat. This would be impressive even in the city. But this morning, the captain's family had dark corn buns and pickled radish. If they're rich, they live in a 3-room mud house. Apart from the TV bought today, there wasn't a single decent piece of furniture. The bed I sleep on is just a few wooden boards put together. She was scared it'd fall apart just rolling over. All right. He was talking to the tractor driver about building a new house during the day. So, is this old house getting torn down? Would they even have somewhere to stay? Then why does he still let me stay? It's clear. This big brother only has eyes for his wife. Doesn't care about anyone else. He clearly doesn't like me staying here. Lost in thought. Crying from inside the house. She quickly stood up and told Lin Qingsu to keep eating. And strode back inside. Turned on the light and picked up the daughter who'd woken on the small bed. Lin Qingsu put down her chopsticks. Reached out for the baby. But you dodged. You eat first, I'm not hungry. I'll eat later. Lin Qingsu knew right away. He just wanted her to eat first. That's why he said he's not hungry. After coming back from outside, he'd been busy cleaning up. How could he not be hungry? But she didn't say anything. Just picked up her chopsticks and kept eating. Li Tiantian lowered her gaze, nibbling at her bun, sneaking glances at the couple. Couldn't help but compare it to her own family. Her 2 older brothers hardly ever touched the kids after work. The wives always soothed the crying babies first, one arm holding the baby, the other hand struggling to eat. But this guy in front was pacing around the courtyard with the baby, rocking her. It was unreal. Lin Qingsu quickly finished eating, took the baby back from the man and went to their room. Once she left, Li Tiantian secretly looked up, glanced at the young man across from her. He was just munching on his bun and eating fried eggs. His handsome face had no expression at all. He seemed cold and distant, totally different from how he was with his wife. Li Tiantian found it a little creepy. She felt uneasy. She stammered, "Bro,
I'm full."
She cleared the dishes and headed to the kitchen, washed up quick and went to the west room. Didn't dare come out again. Night had fallen. You sat alone in the yard, ate the last 4 course buns. Didn't feel full till you drank all the noodle soup. Then you boiled a pot of hot water, carried a basin back inside. "Honey, don't forget to wipe off with the hot water. I'm going to the bathroom." You set the basin on the rack and stepped out. Lin Qingsu closed the door, took off her clothes, began washing up with the hot water, got dressed just after bathing, thought she heard something behind the house, figured she was just hearing things. But then a man's voice came from outside. "Hey, sweetheart, are you bathing?" Goosebumps shot up all over Lin Qingsu. She screamed loudly. You had just pulled your pants back up outside, heard the scream, rushed out immediately, and caught the person running into your arms, held her tight and asked softly, "What's wrong?" Lin Qingsu threw her arms around your waist, her whole body shivering. There was someone behind the house. You lifted your dark eyes, looked over the courtyard wall, and actually saw someone running off quickly. In that instant, your eyes went cold with anger. You looked back at the woman in your arms wearing only her underclothes, swept her up around the waist, and laid her on the bed, then stepped out of the bedroom, and told Li Tiantian standing at the west room door, "Watch him for me. I'm heading out." You didn't say anything else, just strode out of the yard. Your tall figure disappeared into the night, at Zi's house in the east end of the village. The neighbor heard him wailing in pain, and fists landing hard. It was enough to make anyone's heart jump. Everybody knew you were a brute, and a ruthless one at that. No one knew how Zi pissed you off. By hearing those noises, you clearly lost your temper. They were really scared you beat him to death. "Bro, I was wrong. I was trying to see the educated youth, Li Tiantian. But I swear I didn't see a thing." Hearing Zi beg for mercy, you just dislocated his jaw. "What nonsense are you talking about? Weren't you craving meat? Go eat some meat then." "Bro, I was wrong." Zi could barely get up, let alone kneel.
He was seriously scared you would beat him to death.
For a second, you really wanted to cripple him. But thinking of Lin Qingsu and your daughter, you went easy on him. Lin Qingsu lay on the bed, didn't know how much time passed, heard the sound of water in the yard, realized you were back.
Taking a cold shower outside.
After 10 minutes or so, She heard you open and shut the door. In the darkness, you thought she was asleep. You tiptoed inside, just about to climb into bed in the dark. From the bed, you heard, "You're back." Lin Qingsu reached out and turned on the light. The room lit up. You stopped moving. You saw the person on the bed propping their head up with one hand. Her dark hair was scattered over her pale shoulders. Your eyes darkened. You got on the bed, then turned off the light. In the dark, you wrapped your arms around her slim waist. You patted her back and said, "It's okay. Babe, just go to sleep." Before you got home, she didn't dare to sleep, afraid you'd lose control and kill someone, and worried what the villagers might say. He was terrified. She curled up in your arms like a kitten, her cheek pressed against his strong, warm chest. Listening to his steady heartbeat, she slowly stopped crying. He didn't dare cry loudly. Afraid of waking the kid, looking at her like this, you just felt you went too easy on her. You thought with your reputation, no local punk would dare, but someone still tried something. But after tonight, those guys should settle down. Looking at the man, he looked tired, thinking about how he left early and came home late lately, digging wild herbs to sell, handing his money to her, protecting her, convincing her he really changed. In the dark, Lin Qingsu cried herself to sleep. She drifted off, exhausted. You listened to the steady breathing next to you, and finally relaxed. The next morning, Lin Qingsu was woken up by voices outside. In the yard, Sister Zhao poured a handful of sugar into the hot water, pouring some for everyone working. Sugar's rare these days. No one wants to buy it unless it's special. Cao Fengji drank a bowl of sugar water. She leaned over to Sister Zhao and asked quietly, "Yesterday, it sounded like your sister-in-law was yelling at home." Sister Zhao put down the thermos. She looked at gossiping Cao Fengji. "Your house is 2 miles from Zhao Xi's place. How could you hear?" "So what, you had nothing better to do last night? That you were eavesdropping under their window?" Cao Fengji just grinned. She didn't answer but remembered last night. "Heard you beat up a lay from East End half to death and broke his leg. And the city wife didn't quiet down either. Guess it was 'cause the wife cheated on you. She couldn't keep it together. Wanted to make a scene." Sister Zhao ignored her and went to pour water for others. She came up to you and gave you a look. She quietly told you to check on Qingsu. She's usually up by now. Hope she didn't get too scared. You stopped moving bricks. She really was still asleep this morning, but it's already 10. You lifted the curtain and went into the bedroom. Right as you walked in, Lin Qingsu woke up. You instinctively pulled her into your arms, turned to her and said, "Get changed since you're up. I'll bring you breakfast in a bit." Your voice was still a bit hoarse. The curtains were pulled closed. It was noisy outside. Lin Qingsu couldn't help asking what was going on in the yard. You smiled and answered, "They're fixing the wall. It's a mess out there. Baby, just stay in the room for now. There's still stuff to take care of outside." "Then why won't you let me go?" But you didn't let go. In fact, you held her tighter. You said, "Give me a kiss and I'll let go." "Stop it, let me go. People are outside. How am I messing around? You're my wife. I just want a kiss and you're not even willing. Don't you like me anymore?" Your tone was playfully fierce and a bit aggrieved. Lin Qingsu wanted to explain, but ended up saying nothing. She leaned over and gently kissed his cheek. "There, now let me go." You, after that kiss, your pretty eyes lit up. You smiled and cupped her face for another kiss. "I'm getting bored in here. I want to go help outside." Without thinking, you said, "Nope, you're not going. I'll let Sister Zhao keep you company later." Lin Qingsu knew there was no chance to help. Saw you wouldn't open the door. She just went back to play with her daughter. With so many people helping, the yard wall was finished a little after 4. The 2-meter wall was topped with shards of glass. Without a ladder, it's hard for anyone to climb that wall now, especially with all that glass up there. Fixing the wall before building the house. That's a first here. Out back behind your house. Cao Fengji's brother grinned. "Last night I went out to pee. Saw Alay sneaking out of Lin Qingsu's room." He snuck out quietly. "Bet the 2 of them were up to something." Zhang Hongxia gasped. "No way, if that's true." Lin Qingsu's got no shame. The sisters-in-law whispered to each other, exchanged glances. They looked at Lin Qingsu a bit too eagerly. "You saw all that, and heard every word. Those 2 women really need to get put in their place. Your uncle, and these 2 daughters-in-law. What a pair." Sighed, they came to help. But just here for the sugar water. You noticed. Cao Fengji even brought a tea mug. And her pockets were stuffed. Probably took a bunch of snacks for the helpers. Thinking how to deal with them. Cao Fengji and Zhang Hongxia need to be handled at once. Save yourself the trouble. After dinner, you headed lazily to Uncle Wang Dashen's house. Wang Dashen and his 2 sons never split households. They all lived together. When you got there, The Wangs were at dinner. They saw you coming in, and everyone looked surprised. Did Zhou and Guo have dinner yet? Uncle Wang Dashan asked. Aunt Liu Shukin stuffed a spoonful of rice in her mouth and watched you coming her way. She didn't think much of it. You walked right over to Cao Fengji and yanked her by the hair. Everyone froze at your move.
Cao Fengji screamed in shock.
Then everyone came to their senses. Wang stood up in pain. Xin Guo, what are you doing? You sneered. You want to know what I'm doing? Ask your wife. Cao Fengji never thought the news would reach you so quick, and you'd show up so fast. You started calling out Cao Fengji's lies. Liu Shukin and Wang Dashan's faces went dark when they heard. What kind of daughter-in-law did we even bring home? Just a jinx. All we worry about is our sons picking up bad stuff from Zhu and Guo. Always warn them not to hang out with you. But this woman just won't quit causing trouble. Cao Fengji cursed you in her heart, but couldn't think how to explain. Jiang Hongxie stood up. Maybe this is just a misunderstanding? Zhen Guo, let go first. Cao Fengji's your cousin-in-law at least. See, birds of a feather. Jiang Hongxie, you're no good either. Sit down. Jiang Hongxie looks a bit embarrassed. She glances at her man. Wang Yang stays silent. It's clear he wants no part of this mess. You raise your hand and slap Cao Fengji in the face. That's what you get for running your mouth. I should really shut that mouth of yours. Cao Fengji is completely stunned. She never thought you'd actually dare to do it. No one in the Wang family tries to stop it. You smack Cao Fengji 6 times before stopping. Then you let go of her. Cao Fengji is seeing stars. She can barely stand. She staggers into Wang He, but her own man just shoves her away. Wang Dashan says coldly, you had it coming. Serves you right. Liu Shukin glares at Cao Fengji. Feels so damn frustrating. Cao Fengji, are you just dumb or what? Or are you just jealous of Zhang Guo and his wife? How dare you say stuff like that? It's obvious you're stirring up trouble. No one even pities her for being hit. I didn't say those things. But she never admitted. Cao Fengji is out of options. You say you didn't say those things? Can you swear to it? If you're lying, may your entire family die. May your parents never die peacefully. May your kids never die peacefully. Cao Fengji is too naive. She's no match for these crafty ones. You're no match for them. In just a couple words, Cao Fengji is silenced. Her guilt is obvious. She stammers, unable to speak. What's really going on here? Everyone can see the truth now. You look around at everyone. Let me make this clear today. If I hear anyone gossiping in the village, trying to mess with my marriage, don't blame me for what happens. If someone gets beaten or crippled, it's not on me. After you finish speaking, you give Cao Fengji 2 more brutal kicks. Wang He glances over. He steps up and starts beating his own wife again. Cao Fengji's face is all swollen now. She begs Wang He to stop, but he keeps hitting her. Still, no one dares step in. You're clearly still angry, as you haven't left. Anyone who tries to stop it will be in trouble. After a while, Liu Shukin sighs. That's enough. If you hurt her, it'll cost money for treatment. Wang He raises his hand again. He slaps Cao Fengji in the face. This time, her mouth starts bleeding. You snort. Serves you right for being mouthy. Do it again and I'll sew your mouth shut. With that, you walk away. Inside the house, only Cao Fengji sobs. There's no other sound. After dealing with her, Cao Fengji actually feels good. He heads home in a good mood to see his wife. Once he's gone, Wang Dashan gives Liu Shuking a look. Tells her to take the daughters-in-law to the kitchen to clean up. In the middle room, Wang Dashan sits there silently smoking.
He taps the table with his pipe.
Wang He, Wang Yong, you two keep your wives in check. If anyone spreads rumors about Zhao Xi's family, I won't be able to protect you. We can't mess with Zhao Xi. People say he's straightened out lately. But honestly, he seems even wilder now. Wang He and Wang Yong hang their heads. They don't dare say a word. The old wooden door creaks open. An old wooden door swings open. Cao Fengji quickly shuts her eyes. She hasn't even figured out what to do. They've been married for a few months now. But there's still no sign she's pregnant. Her in-laws and husband stood by and watched her get beaten just now. What kind of people are these? Wang He comes in but says nothing. He sits on the edge of the bed in silence.
His mind is a mess.
He's not at peace at all. He knows his cousin is no ordinary guy. His dad warned him not to mess with him. But his own wife is just so pretty. He can't bring himself to send her back to her parents. He just can't let her go. They lock eyes. Neither says a word. After a moment, Cao Fengji picks herself up. I was wrong, she says. Wang He looks surprised. He never expected her to admit fault. One day, Cao Fengji sees he's not talking. From now on, I'll behave and just be with you. I promise not to set foot outside. or even step past the second door. Wang He gives her a look, then turns and leaves. Cao Fengji watches his back as he goes. The chatterbox is at a loss. Maybe she should take the initiative. She can't let this beating go to waste. Early one morning, Lin Qingsu divides the dough she prepared into 5 little pieces. She puts them in the pan, frying both sides until golden. She's about to tear off a piece to taste, but gets startled by a hug from behind. You're tall, so you have to bend down to wrap her in your arms. Your chin rests on her neck. Lin Qingsu shrinks away a little. She relaxes when she smells the familiar scent. Still groggy, she turns her head. She sees you eyeing the food in her hand. She gives a faint smile. She feeds you the flatbread. How does it taste? It's good. Your smile is so real and warm. Babe, you really don't have to get up so early to cook for me. It's fine if you sleep a bit longer with the baby. You need to go hunting. It's cold in the mountains, a hot breakfast helps.
Lately.
She saw you leave every morning with just some dry food. So Lin Qingsu wanted to do something for you. I'm heading out now. After you have breakfast, put on your big boots, grab the basket and head up the mountain. You walk for about 2 hours. Soon, you find that dendrobium you were looking for. You take out your tools and get to work. By noon, you finished picking all the dendrobium, and there's still plenty of time left. You don't go down right away. You start searching around for dead wood, hoping to get lucky. Sure enough, you spot a big bonanza. You stride over quickly. Turns out they're mushrooms. Wait, that's too bright red for a regular dried out mushroom. They're actually 4 different sized Ganoderma. Today's mountain trip was worth it. How did I never notice this before? There really is treasure everywhere in these deep woods. You set the basket down. Lay some leafy grass as padding. Use a sharp knife to cut the Ganoderma and place them inside. Cover them with another thick layer of grass. Just as you're about to leave, you catch something out of the corner of your eye. By a chestnut tree, a small hidden hole. Fresh dirt and footprints are scattered around the entrance. Those are badger tracks. Looks like a badger den. Badger meat is delicious. It'll be good for your wife's health. Badger oil is precious medicine. But badgers are clever. Catching one is never easy. You decide to try smoking it out. You rummage around and find a handful of dried chili peppers. Carefully stuff the peppers and firewood into the hole. The fire flickers. Thick smoke pours in. The biting smell fills the badger's den. You step aside and wait patiently. When the badger senses the smoke, it'll instinctively look for a way out. You've already set up a net at the entrance. Now you just wait for the badger to walk right in. It's a bit of a gamble. Badgers are good at digging tunnels, making clever designs, and often have many exits. You remember a nature show said, some badgers have over 130 exits. Time ticks by. The woods are silent, except for the occasional bird call. You keep your eyes on the hole. Your palms are sweating a bit. You wait for about half an hour, still nothing. You're about to give up, planning to put out the fire with wet branches. Suddenly there's movement at the hole. A furry badger head pops out. Its eyes are wide with panic in the smoke. Then it squeezes out of the hole and bolts straight for the net in a panic. You react quickly and yank the net tight. You trap the badger safely in the net. Looks like it's about 20 pounds. Only a 1 in 6 chance with all those exits. So catching even one is lucky. You're very satisfied. You take out some water from your stash and make sure the fire is out. Then you head down the mountain. And this is at home. Some villagers heard you bought a TV. They got curious and kept coming over. Wanted to see what the city folks' TV looked like. By the end of the day, your house was super lively. Crowds just kept coming and going. Some villagers saw Zhao Jiangxing having piles of building supplies delivered. After hearing you were building a house, everyone looked surprised. People were talking all sorts of things. They all thought you couldn't finish the house. Felt you didn't have that much money. Some even secretly said you don't know how to live. Spending so much on a metal box for nothing. Wasting money and electricity. Lin Qingsu was exhausted just dealing with villagers watching TV. Completely worn out. He thought their house was even busier than at their wedding. Just as he sat down to relax, he saw you coming back with a basket. Suddenly, his eyes lit up.
He walked over, holding the child.
Why are you back so early today? Then he noticed leaves stuffed in your bamboo basket. After these few times, just by looking at the grass in your basket, he could already guess there was something else inside. He was pretty surprised by your constant good luck. Dendrobium is hard to find. But each time you go up the mountain, you bring some back. Lin Qingsu was wearing a brand new red sweater, making her skin look even more pale and soft. He was stunned by her beauty for a moment. Once you got close, you bent down, trying to kiss him on the cheek. But he blushed and dodged. Lin Qingsu thought you were always up to something. Always trying to sneak a kiss in broad daylight. Tan Tian and big sis-in-law are both here. Only then did you notice a few villagers inside. You looked at your wife, puzzled. Lin Qingsu noticed your confusion and explained, everyone wants to see what the TV looks like. Luckily, my sister-in-law came over, so she helped out. You nodded, then tried to take the baby from her arms. But your clothes were dirty, so you carried the basket into the kitchen, calling your wife to follow you. You leaned close and whispered a few words in her ear. Lin Qingsu looked at the basket, then nodded. She didn't know how much you brought back, and that you'd go to the city early tomorrow. But she didn't press for details. There were still so many people at home. He really had the nerve to get this close. This guy had been acting different lately. Noticed his wife secretly glancing at him. You grinned from ear to ear. Smack. Then kissed both her cheeks. Wife, make sure you eat well today. No one else would say that. And your hands kept moving, gently touching her waist. How can it be so slim? Probably not even 16 inches. Even when I'm not home, you've gotta eat well, okay? You're too skinny. I can almost grab your waist. Lin Qingsu glared at you, holding the child. She almost complained you were being inappropriate. Then big sis-in-law shouted, if Lao sees back, Qingqing, then I'll head home. Old Zhao's in the fields. He'll be home soon. She turned and walked out. Lin Qingsu quickly called her back. Sis, wait, let me hand you my daughter. She left the kitchen, went into the east room and brought out a bag of rock sugar, put it into big sis-in-law's hands. Afraid you'd say she couldn't give it away. Rock sugar is a rare thing. She can't bear to eat it herself. If not for big sis-in-law's help, life would have been even tougher before. When she heard about all the villagers coming over today, she didn't even bother with her flowers. If big sis-in-law hadn't come, with this many people, she couldn't have handled it alone. Back when the family was poor, she kept taking advantage of her big sis-in-law. Now life's better. She wanted to repay her. Even between sisters-in-law, you can't always take advantage of others. Sis Zhang Guo bought this. Take it home for the kids. Sis stared at the half-pound of rock sugar in shock. She quickly pushed it back. No, keep it for Nunu. Sugar water is for special guests. Most families can't afford it. If a new wife brings this home, her own family would be so proud. It's a huge honor. The two of them went back and forth a bunch of times. The bag almost ripped. Finally, big sis-in-law shyly accepted the sugar. She turned and went home. Lin Qingsu nervously explained to you, wringing her hands and stuttering. Luckily, sis helped us. There were just too many people then. I got so busy I almost forgot to eat. Almost skipped lunch. I gave the rock sugar to sis. Please don't be mad and don't go ask for it back. Don't ask for it back. Seriously. Seeing your wife all scared and nervous, you felt a tight grip on your heart. It almost broke. She still doesn't really trust you. Always afraid to say the wrong thing. Afraid you'd hit or yell at her. Feels like he's paying for his past actions. You stayed silent. Lin Qingsu got even more scared, acting like she did something wrong. Bowed her head and mumbled, Zhang Guo, I'll never do it again. Please don't be mad. You picked up your daughter with one arm and pulled your wife close with the other. You needed to get some things straight with her. Never let misunderstanding drag on, or it'll just pile up more and more. For a couple, worst thing is not talking it out. If you don't communicate, nothing works. You patted her back, rested your chin on her hair, and gently said, Wife, I've said it already. You're in charge at home. Money is yours to manage. Do whatever you want. You make the calls. It's just a bag of sugar. If you want more, we'll buy some tomorrow. Don't worry about my feelings so much. No matter what you decide, I'll always support you no matter what. At first, hearing this, Lin Qingsu thought you were sulking, but you said it again and again. It really wasn't just talk. Lin Qingsu finally relaxed. She'd barely dared breathe before, afraid you'd suddenly get mad. Seeing her calm down, you finally felt at ease. Guess you're going to have to chat heart to heart every night. Wanted to take your wife to the city for a break, but knew she wouldn't want to. She's scared you'd turn around and sell your daughter off once she's in the city. But you still felt taking her out for a walk would help. Wife, want to take a walk at the foot of the mountain with me? I'll catch a quail for you as a treat. Lin Qingsu kind of wanted to go. Not just because of the quail. It's just that lately, he hasn't even let her work in the fields. Just wants her to rest at home and take care of the baby. She was out working the day after giving birth. Didn't care much about herself back then. But now he cares for her more. She doesn't even know what she promised Wang Shuanju. Both adults in her house stop working. And if Wang Shuanju never comes to ask about it, you can tell your wife is thinking about it. But she's still hesitating. Her gaze keeps wandering over everyone in the yard. You know she's worried about them leaving. The stuff at home won't be safe. You laugh it off and say it's fine. Hold on a sec. After saying that, You leave the kitchen with your kid in your arms. No idea what you said to those people. Everyone in the main room comes out. You even send Li Tiantian out. Li Tiantian actually wants to tag along with you three. She wants to check out the foot of the mountain. They say there are tigers up there. None of these educated youths dare go near. But seeing you aren't welcoming, she can't join. So she's left wandering around the village. On the road, you notice your wife keeps glancing at you, wanting to say something. You stop and look at him, waiting expectantly. Lin Qingsu gathers courage and says, Zhang Guo, can I go visit my parents' house tomorrow? We've been married so long. And the man beside me finally acts like a real husband. He knows how to earn money and support the family now. Lin Qingsu wants to visit her parents, just to calm her mom's worries. So her mom won't worry about her marriage anymore. You thought your wife spent all this time working up the nerve. So it must be a big deal. Turns out, this is what it was all about. You're holding your daughter with one arm, while holding your wife's hand with the other. I'll go with you to your parents' house tomorrow. Wait for me at home. Actually, you've gotten plenty of money from your mother-in-law before. Tomorrow when we go to town, let's sell the stones, as well as the polygonum and some venison. Those can get sold too. That should be enough to pay your debts. And maybe buy your mother-in-law a gift. Lin Qingsu can't believe he would actually say something like that. This is such a nice surprise. She can't help but nod and smile. Not long after, you take her to a lake filled with wild ducks. You stop and say, we're here. This lake, years ago, drowned more than a dozen naughty kids. People say water spirits hide in there. It's pretty creepy, so most people avoid it. No one dares get too close. But you don't believe in that stuff. You take off your shirt and lay it on the grass. Let your wife sit there with the kid. You even sprinkle some realgar and mugwort powder to keep bugs away. Lin Qingsu parts the weeds in front of her and gazes at the lake reflecting the blue sky and white clouds, along with the surrounding trees. Her eyes light up. Wild ducks are quacking in the grass. Lin Qingsu, excited, asks, did you get wild ducks here last time? You nod and say there should be duck eggs. It's exactly the egg-laying season. He pushes through grass taller than himself, walking toward where the ducks are calling. But before he gets close, the ducks sense movement and flap their wings, flying off. Lin Qingsu embarrassedly touches her nose. Oops, all the ducks are gone, but you brought her here just to relax. So you don't care and say, it's okay, you rest here. I'll go look around. You send her back and go into the grass to search carefully. You really do find quite a few wild ducks. They've built nests out of dry grass and feathers. Gray-green duck eggs are lying inside. There's a bunch of them. You grab a few and come back to show her. Hands empty. By now, Lin Qingsu is worried about carrying all the duck eggs. How do we take them all back? 4 hands aren't enough for a dozen eggs. Still so many we can't carry. To him who's always thrifty, it's a real shame. Lin Qingsu looks around the lake and sees lots of willow trees. She quickly gives you the kid and says, hold her for me. I've got an idea. He takes out a knife to cut some willow branches. After you figure out what he's doing, you set your daughter on a tree branch and help out with the cutting too. I can do it myself, she says. You might get hurt. Just hold the kid and wait. He's really fast. Soon there's a pile of willow sticks. He finds a flat spot. After cutting off the leaves, Lin Qingsu starts weaving the willow branches flat. While she's weaving, you just watch. You really can't help at all. Lin Qingsu quickly weaves the bottom of a basket. Suddenly, she remembers something. She looks up at the sky. She asks if you're hungry. You shake your head. Not hungry. She rubs her stomach. Sorry, but I'm a little hungry. You hurry up and say you'll hunt some birds for her to eat. I'll roast a bird for you. No need. Lin Qingsu takes 2 steamed buns from her cloth bag. I brought some buns. Just heat them up and they're good to eat. You should eat too. You glance at the bag and nod slowly. Lin Qingsu smiles sweetly. She starts cutting hay by the lake, then makes a small fire. She heats up the buns on the fire, tells you to watch the fire, while she keeps weaving the basket. She doesn't stop for a moment. She's really fast. Just as the bun's aroma fills the air, the basket is done. She holds it up in front of you, showing off. What do you think? Does it look good? It's great. You've got amazing hands. You look up at her, take the roasted bun off the fire, and hand it to her. Lin Qingsu puts the basket down. She washes her hands in the lake. The 2 of you sit on a dead tree trunk by the lake, eating buns with the mountains and autumn sun. After you finish eating, you stand up, pick up the basket, and go alone into the grass to collect duck eggs. Since nobody ever comes here, wild ducks have few natural enemies, so they've been thriving. While Lin Qingsu is eating, you fill up a basket with eggs. Looks like you could fill 2 more baskets. But Lin Qingsu only takes one basket, not being greedy. This is enough. Wait here a bit. I'm heading in deeper to see if I can hunt something else. You dive into the woods. Lin Qingsu, holding the baby, keeps watching the man moving through the trees. She sometimes sees his head pop up as he crawls carefully on the ground. When he's crawling through the grass, her heart is in her throat. The grass is so thick. What if there are snakes? What if he gets bitten by a snake? The more she thinks, the more she regrets it. The wait feels endless, and she gets anxious. When he pokes his head up again, he shouts from the bush for you to hurry up. I don't want quail anymore. It's too far away. But you don't hear her at all, and dive back into the woods. Qingsu gets even more uneasy. She hugs the baby tight, bends down to pick up the shirt, clutches it in her hand, and stands at the foot of the mountain, staring off into the distance. You made sure to stay with your wife, and only went as far as the foot of the mountain. You didn't use a gun, but went with a slingshot instead. This is no ordinary slingshot. The frame is bent from heated steel rods, and it's been polished and tuned countless times. The band is made from top-grade rubber, feels heavy in your hand, solid and sturdy. Your eyes are sharp as a hawk's. You scan the sky, searching for a target. Just as the sun is setting, a wild goose slowly glides into view, flapping its wings, like it's hurrying home. All right, you're mine. You take a deep breath, steady yourself, and raise your slingshot. Slingshots don't shoot far. The goose is flying high, but you have your own tricks. You let loose with a triple shot. The first stone flies into the air. The second one follows and hits the first. The third stone instantly crashes into the other two, with a sharp whistling sound, chasing after the figure disappearing into the sky. Finally, the first stone, hit by the other two, strikes the goose's wing dead on. The goose shudders hard, loses its balance. After circling in the air, it falls helplessly. You're flooded with excitement and pride.
He grips the slingshot tightly.
His eyes follow the goose falling down, until it lands steadily on the grass nearby. When you walk down with the goose, you see your wife carrying the baby hurriedly up the mountain. Once you see this, your heart leaps into your throat. The mountain path is super slippery. You quickly shout to warn them of danger. Don't go up there. The sudden shout makes Lin Qingsu stop in her tracks, startled. Her shaky voice calls you to hurry down. I don't want any quail anymore. I'm done eating them. Hurry down now. As she spoke, her eyes were getting red. He stayed by the grass, watching the mountain, seeing no movement for a while. He was terrified at that moment, afraid something would happen up in the mountain, wondering what he'd do if it did. He can't even imagine it. You also notice your wife is acting strange. You're in no mood to hunt anymore. Quickly reply, I'm coming out. Tell her to stand there and not move. Then hurry down to the foot of the mountain. You stride up to your wife with the goose in hand. Looking at her flushed eyes, you ask what's wrong. Are you cold? Come on, let's go home. Lin Qingsu says nothing, turns around and carries the kid ahead. Her uneasy, scared feelings linger. You honestly don't get it. Why did your wife suddenly get upset? She was fine when you left. It only took a moment, but her mood totally changed. You try several times to say something. You want to get your jacket and pants back, but she's got a stern face, holding the kid. Won't even look at you. No choice but to walk with your upper body bare, just in shorts, holding the goose, and a basket of duck eggs, following behind your wife. Passing old Li's house. Old Li is squatting on the doorsill, smoking his pipe. Sees Zhao Laoxi's wife carrying the baby up front, and grabbing Laoxi's clothes. Looking at Laoxi next. A tall guy, like 6 feet, trailing behind his wife. He looks meek, as droopy as an eggplant after frost. How come he never noticed Laoxi acts so tough outside? But he's so timid in front of his wife. The young couple walk up. Old Li can't help joking. What happened, Laoxi? Got scolded by your wife. You stretch your neck to sneak a peek at your wife. Can't see her expression. Just notice her fair neck showing. Quickly look away. Smile at old Li. But don't dare say a word. You two head home, one after another. Toss the goose onto the ground. Rush forward to open the yard gate. When the gate opens, you stand aside thoughtfully. Wait for your wife to enter. Then bend down to pick up the goose and follow her inside. Lin Qingsu almost laughs at your silly look. Barely holds it in. Sits down with the child on a bench in the yard. Then realizes she's still holding your shirt. You're bare-chested, wearing just pants. And followed home like that. Suddenly remembers old Li's teasing. Why did she get upset with you anyway? Even forgot to give you your clothes. Sneakily glances at you. Sees you're not mad. Quietly fetching water. She gets up and tells you not to use cold water to wash. I'll boil some hot water for you. she says, holding her daughter in one hand, struggling to open the door. Wants to put her daughter in the small crib inside. Once your wife starts talking to you, you're instantly energized. You turn your head, see your wife struggling to open the door with your daughter. Quickly set down the wash basin. Hurry over, step behind your wife. Take the key and put it in the lock. Quickly open the door. Look down at your wife in your arms, feeling super happy inside. You look at your daughter. I'll shower and make food for you. Lin Qingsu doesn't answer. As soon as the door opens, she carries the baby inside, puts her sleeping daughter in the little crib, tucks her in, lifts the curtain and comes out. Sees you barebacked, splashing cold water all over yourself. She can't stay mad at all watching that. Thinking, let him freeze. Walks over, grabs your shirt from the bench, sits back down, waits for you to finish and come in. Lin Qingsu takes your clothes to the well, fetches a bucket of water, starts washing your shirt and pants. Thinking while washing, when Ming will head to the city, should she bring their daughter along? Go to town first and buy him some thick clothes. It's already autumn. The weather gets cooler every day.
He's still wearing a thin shirt.
Up before dawn, running into the mountains. Early mountain air is wet and cold. How does he not feel chilly? He comes back with dirt on his pants every day. His shirt is muddy too. Guessing he crawls to gather herbs. You quickly rinse off. Your strong, tall body is soaked and freezing cold. Stride into the house, bending low. Grab your wife's towel. Rub down your body to dry off. Put on clean clothes and then come out. See your clothes for today already washed. Feeling warm inside. Having someone do your laundry feels so good. Having a wife is awesome. You clean and gut the goose you just caught. Decide to stir fry half and make soup with the other half for your wife. When Li Tiantian gets back, she happens to see you prepping a bird. Her sister-in-law is hanging up her brother's clothes. This scene changes her view of you again. Lin Qingsu had just set down her bowl. Aunt Zhang from the east side bursts in. Her daughter is about to get married. Needs someone literate to check out Li Dan's stuff. All those fancy words. So she thought of Lin Qingsu. Hurried over to get her help. Li Tiantian didn't want to be alone with a grown man. So villagers don't gossip. Goes along to help out. After eating, you start making wan oil. It's a rare medicinal herb. Great for skin hydration and healing. It treats burns and frostbite well. You notice it's pitch black outside. Can't see your hand in front of you. So you lock the door, carry the child in your arms, walk through half the village, arrive at Zhang's place. Lin Qingsu saw you bring the kid over, thought something went wrong, quickly puts down what she's doing. He walks up to you, looks down at the baby in your arms. What's going on? He glanced at his wife and smiled, saying it's nothing. Came over to check things out. Said that, then grabbed a small stool and sat right down. Zhang is pretty sharp. She picked up on something. Her smile was all teeth, eyes nearly gone. She looked at Lin Qingsu and said, your fourth brother. He's worried you'll be scared walking at night. He just doesn't feel at ease about you. Came here just to pick you up. Lin Qingsu listened to Aunt Zhang. Glanced at the man sitting on the stool. Turns out that's exactly what's happening. Aunt Zhang loves to tease people. You can't really take her words seriously. Anyway, even if he knows you're afraid of the dark, Tian also came along. He didn't have to come all this way just for this. Thinking about this, Lin Qingsu said to the man on the stool, you sit here and rest a bit. I'll be done soon. She finished speaking and went back to the table, tucked her head down to work and answered. While talking, his eyes were like glued to his wife, staring at her every move. Then Zhang Tianjin, munching on cornbread, pulled over a stool and sat next to you. Fourth brother, I think sister-in-law is really great, prettier than Huiji, smart and classy too. When you heard Zhang Tianjin, you froze for a moment, took a while to react, trying to remember who Zhang Hui is, feeling puzzled, wondering why Tianjin suddenly brought her up. Tianjin saw you didn't say anything, thought fourth brother still cared about Hui. Now he's anxious. If that's true, then sister-in-law really would feel wronged. She's been genuine with brother Zhengguo. Even though the family is dirt poor, she's stuck with him no matter what. That's real devotion. Thinking about that, Tianjin started persuading you, fourth brother, you shouldn't think about her anymore. Just live well with sister-in-law. I heard Huiji found someone in the city, working in the kitchen at a state restaurant. Now when she comes home, her nose is in the air. Doesn't even give people a proper look. All that in his tone is pure dislike. Tianjin really doesn't like Hui. Feels like she's arrogant just because she's decent looking. Acts like she's always above everyone. Even talks to people through her nose. If we're talking looks, Hui can't compare to fourth brother's wife now. Tianjin wishes he could get lucky like fourth brother. Marry a beautiful wife with fair skin. Just look at sister-in-law's figure. Doesn't look at all like she's had a kid. Fresh as a pickled cucumber. All bright and pretty. Just one look and you're hooked. Who the hell started this rumor? Saying I like someone like Hui. She's not even good enough to carry my shoes. Doesn't matter if it's past life or this one. When did I ever really pay attention to her? Why has this fake story spread all over the village? If my wife heard this, she's bound to seriously misunderstand. You kept watching your wife just now. Noticing she never looked at you once. Made you feel even more uneasy. She was so close. She must have heard. Maybe she really doesn't care about you anymore. Thinking about this, you feel all blocked up inside. And stop being nice to Taejin. When did I ever care about her? Which eye of yours saw me? Thinking about her. Taejin saw your attitude. Scared, acting like a little kid. Hurried to smile awkwardly. Fourth brother, I was just saying, why are you getting so mad? Deep down I really like you. You're famous as the tough guy in these parts. People see you and take the long way home. If you hadn't saved sister-in-law, no way you could marry someone that good. Look at him acting all meek. Clearly doesn't believe you. But you can't be bothered to argue. Angrily shout, get out of here. Taejin grabbed his stool and ran off quickly. Their whole conversation. Lin Ching-soo heard every single word. She gripped her pen tight. Her knuckles turned white. No wonder he's been acting different lately. Turns out he has someone new in his heart. Now he's finally planning to live well with me. Trying to shut him up. Lin Ching-soo felt sad inside. It hurt so much. On the way home, you carried the kid without caring much. While a third wheel tagged along. Lee Tiantian followed behind, trying to explain. Wife, don't listen to Taejin's nonsense. I have nothing to do with Hui. I don't care for her kind. My heart's all about you. He sounded honest. Almost swore an oath right then. Lee Tiantian followed a few steps back. Her ears stood up like antennas. Curious about the drama. She looked at your tall build. Walking beside young sister-in-law. Your back was bent like a shrimp. Must be really scared his wife will misunderstand. Isn't this whipped husband syndrome? You saw your wife still ignored you. All anxious inside. Still can't figure out what she's thinking. Just drooped your head. Silently followed her home. Once home, you gently laid the sleeping kid in the crib. Covered him up nicely. Then, low-spirited like a wilted eggplant, slowly went to the kitchen to boil water. Your tall body crouched at the stove, poking the fire with a stick in your hand, cursing if I ever find out who was trash-talking me, spreading rumors behind my back. I'll beat him so bad his own mom won't recognize him. He shouldn't talk nonsense when he's bored. Isn't that just making trouble for himself? Right now, Lin Ching-soo is sitting on a stool in the east room, stitching a cotton jacket for her daughter thread by thread. It didn't take long. When you walked in carrying a steaming basin of water, you strode in quickly, bent down and gently placed the basin by your wife's feet, then squatted down. Your big hand grabbed her slender ankle, and your other hand started to take off her shoes. This move made Lin Ching-soo stop her sewing. She looked up at the man squatting in front of her, and asked, "What are you doing?" She tried to pull her ankle back, but your grip was too strong. She couldn't get free at all. Your rough, warm palm rubbed against her skin, making it feel a little itchy. She used to understand your temper, but now you seem harder to figure out. What are you really thinking? You kept your head down, still moving, and took off your wife's cloth shoes, and muttered, "Wife, you've been tired all day. Let me soak your feet, help you relax a bit." Seeing she couldn't get away, Lin Ching-soo just gave up struggling, her eyes dropping slightly, quietly watching the man in front of her, letting him take off her shoes. As her feet entered the warm water, her heart felt warm too. You've changed a lot lately, especially right now. You're actually helping me wash my feet. Before, I would have never dreamed this could happen, even when I was pregnant, with that big belly and so much trouble. You never did anything like this. Now I feel greedy in my heart, soaking in your gentle care, thinking about all that. She said to the man squatting and washing her feet, "Zenguo, I'm not mad at you. As long as you don't mess around anymore, I'll be satisfied." Her pale fingers ran through your short hair. Soft fingertips caressed gently. Hearing her words, you stayed silent, quietly rubbing your wife's soft, pale feet. Once they were clean, and you felt the water cool down, you picked up her feet and set them on your thigh, slipped her wet feet under your shirt, then grabbed the towel from your shoulder, took her foot out, and dried it off. Then you bent down and lifted her from the chair, carried her to the bed. "It's really late, stop working. Be careful with your eyes." As you spoke, you climbed onto the bed too. "Wife, I know I was a jerk before. I messed up a lot. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but at least give me a chance to change. Trust me, okay? Your words made Ling Qingsu's stiff body slowly relax. All she could breathe in was your warm scent, mixed with fresh hormones, making her heart feel cozy and warm. After a long while, she replied so softly. They got it, barely audible. But you heard it. Early in the morning, you got up before sunrise and headed to town. Caught the earliest bus to the city. This time, you didn't go back to the same pharmacy to sell things like dendrobium, deer antler, etc. These treasures, if you sell them to the same pharmacy too often, someone might get suspicious. So you picked a different pharmacy. The manager saw what you had and realized you're the young guy who's been selling big batches lately. He welcomed you with a smile and took you into a private room, checked your goods carefully, and found no problems with what you brought. He didn't know how you keep getting supplies, but he's heard about you, so he didn't lower the price. You didn't expect it to go so smoothly. Counted.
How?
Easy it was. You counted the thick stack of cash in your hand, made sure the amount was right, stuffed it into your bag, and went to the state-run mall. You headed in, ready to pick out some health supplements for your mother-in-law, but unexpectedly, ran into a big shot from your past life.